So I want to revisit customer profiling for a little bit in this video. We've covered in depth about talking about customer profiling, its importance, its benefits, where it might show up and why we think you should have between 3 to 5 core customer profiles, customer groups that show up within your business, and those that you start to recognize, start to profile and start to personalize. It's really important we add that character to different customer profiles so we can start to adapt messaging, behaviors, and our own conversations with those profiles when they walk in the door. But one thing I want to focus on specifically in this session is about one aspect of customer profiling, and that is about the why not you. Why are they not going to choose you? And I think it's often a place where we shy away from and we don't really address because we think everything's fine. This is how we do things. If someone doesn't want to choose me, it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. It's because of wider reputation. It's because of cheaper price. It's because of this. It's because of that. We can always come up with things that aren't our responsibility. But obviously we try and instill personal responsibility in our sales, and to reflect therefore on the why not you from a personal setting, we want to start looking at some of the research that we've done for this video that suggests that 82% of customers think sales reps, sales execs, sales managers are unprepared. And 68% of customers are lost because of perceived apathy, i.e. they're not bothered about me. They just want to hit the numbers. They're not bothered about me. I'm just another number. They're not bothered about me. I'm just another person. They treat us all the same. So why not you? Where does this start to show up in your customer profiling? So the stats are there. The research is there to suggest that the customer perceptions are very real, and therefore we need to do something about it. So where does that start in terms of our customer profiling and how we position to try and shift the why not use to the why use? And that's the complete flip on what we need to try and work on from this little session. So for me, there's some key things. Don't treat me, if I'm the customer here, don't treat me the same as everyone else. I expect, I want, and need a personal experience. Now, whether that is absolutely bespoke to me, or if it's from a predefined group of customer profiles, that doesn't matter, but it needs to be mine when it's me that's experiencing it. I need to feel looked after. I need to feel like it was about me, not just filling your numbers. And prepare properly. If the statistics are glaring that sales reps are unprepared, the obvious answer here is to prepare. Perhaps reference the Whopper template that really helps capture the reasons for the meetings, the anticipations, which suggests you understand the customer's drivers and motives that will help you better prepare for more effective sales meetings. And have a follow-up. How many times do you have a meeting and you don't follow up? You say, yeah, I'll send you that through later. I'll be sure to send this through, don't worry about it. But you never do. And therefore that leads to the point of, well, they're not bothered about me. I am just another number after all. I thought this time was different. I'll go somewhere else. Because in our desire to have personal relationships with customers, part of that has to be joining up the online and offline and using digital follow-ups to only enhance the personal experience in the first place. And if we miss that out, we're left with a they're not bothered about me feeling. So really important that you start to take a step back, look at your customer profiles, address the concerns. They're often unprepared. They'll lose my custom because they don't really care. There's apathy towards me. We think these 2 points here will start to overcome that. So prepare, aim for personal experience, and have that follow-up and make sure you follow up. Because ultimately, you have to care about me. I'm not a herd. I am not the same as everyone else. I have my own personal desires, my own personal requirements, my own emotional drivers and problems that make me want your solution. So make sure you care about me. But how do you do that, you might ask? Well, we want you to start thinking about how you show up to these conversations, to these meetings. If you have a meeting this week or next week, how are you showing up? How are you preparing? Yes. But really, how are you engaging in that meeting? And it comes down a bit, we think, to listening. So if we're profiling a customer group and that group show in and you have prepared and you're making it a personal experience, then you need to follow up. How do you know what you're going to follow up with? You have to listen. And the table on screen that you can see now is the 5 levels of listening. Chances are, a lot of people here will fall into 1 to 3 here. If we are brutal with ourselves, we're probably going to fall into listening level 1, 2, or 3. I'll just give you a very brief rundown of the characteristics here about your mindset. Because if we have pretending to listen, level 2, you might be multitasking or you might be distracted. How might that show up? Think about it. If you have a Zoom meeting or an online meeting or even a face-to-face meeting and you're sat behind your desk on the computer and you're nodding and but really in reality you're drifting and you're looking at your inbox or you're looking at that post or that email or that report that's come through. Are you really listening or are you pretending to listen? Where does that fit? Likewise, selective listening, level 3. Your approach here, your mindset here might be, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, fine, but I'm only picking up on the bits that are important to me based on what I know I'm going to be sending you and telling you regardless of what you say to me. How does that make the customer, the prospect feel? They're going to feel like they don't care about me. All they did was pick out the bits that were best for them and sent me a follow-up relating to it. So where do you sit on these levels of listening? Where we need to aim for really is the mindset of wanting to connect and understand, genuinely wanting to connect, genuinely wanting to understand where our customers are. This is attentive listening. If a customer comes in and they're sharing personal motivations, emotional drivers that are leading them to a purchase review, and you're coming across as a multitasking or distracted sales rep, there's a disconnect. Whereas if you come across in the same conversation as wanting to genuinely connect and listening to understand, you can then follow up effectively and timely with relevant information based on what they genuinely said and you genuinely wanted to know. And then level 5, empathetic listening. This is the mindset of putting your own needs temporarily to one side to truly understand the perspective of the other person. Some real differences here. And if you are stuck in level 1 from preoccupied, ignoring with other things that are on your mind, and you think you already know the answer, this is a wholly different relationship to that of the empathetic listening of level 5. So where do you sit? Challenge yourself and think about the previous meetings that you had. We think that if you can aim for a level 4, level 5 listening, you'll start to care about the prospect, care about the customer. You'll understand the customer, which will then allow you to follow up with effective and relevant information because you're prepared and you anticipated what they might say because you've profiled that type of customer. So there's some really important stuff here that expands on customer profiling, that challenges some of the broader research around why people don't go with you, why people don't choose you, and some solutions about how you can overcome that, but also about how you can listen better with the aim of listening to understand, listening to with empathy, so you can respond better and follow up better. So that's where we think listening fits into customer profiling. I hope that's been helpful. Enjoy it. Make sure you're applying it in your next meetings, and we will see you guys very soon.